Hello and welcome to another Out of Spec Bits episode. You join me on the R2 media launch day with this, the R2 Standard. If you head to our other channels, you'll see we're driving the top end performance models that are available at launch, but Rivian also brought along their representative $45,000 just under model here on display. And I'm going to show you essentially everything you do get and don't get with this car. And I think it's so cool of Rivian to actually bring along the future base model so we all know the full breadth of the product range. So let's jump into R2 Standard. And yes, I have battery info for you because I've been dying to know myself. Guys, before we start the video, don't forget to check out our merch. I just revamped a bunch of stuff on there. Big shout out to Timon for getting the site design going, shirt design, everything there. We've got some really funny stickers such as, but does it drive itself? Like every Tesla owner with FSD asks. Because like cars should kind of be able to do that too. So it's a double meaning sticker. It's kind of truthful and also kind of funny. We have other things celebrating our Bolt cross country trip and just lots of great, funny EV related merch and more to come. So I'll leave the shop.outofspecstudios.com website linked below, but go get yourself some merch and it supports the channel and hopefully you guys get some cool stuff out of it as well. You join me here just outside of Salt Lake City in Park City, Utah, place we've filmed so many videos over the years for Out of Spec with this. This is the Rivian R2 in extra silver, which looks awesome, and it is a zero option car, or at least representative of that. The software is not fully dialed into this particular one, but at least from a hardware and visual perspective, you'll get to see the new 19-inch wheels, the car without the tow hooks on the front, and so many other changes. Even around the back, there's changes. In the R2 Premium and Performance, you can see the rear glass will go down with this integrated rear wiper. This has been a point of contention for many owners. They're like, what if I live in a cold climate? There actually is a winter mode for this wiper to hold it kind of in a placeholder up, but Rivian says they've done enough cold weather testing. However, this just has a normal windshield wiper positioned right there on the rear, and little changes throughout the car that we are going to go through. From an interior perspective, there's only one interior offered on this particular vehicle. It is a dark seat with a light headliner. I've got to find the keys to it to get it unlocked so I can show you everything inside, and then we will go on a full tour of the R2 Standard, again priced right around $45,000 as it sits right here. Let's start where the rubber meets the road. This is the standard included tire option on the R2. It is a Pirelli Scorpion MS tire, and it is an OE specification with a pretty thick sidewall. This is a 255/65 R19. That is a lot of rubber there. Let me put in a different aspect angle, and you are going to have some really good cushion absorption with this particular tire. Optional, even on the standard car, will be the 20-inch, they call it the bicolor carbon all-season option, which is also a Pirelli Scorpion MS tire. Looks very similar overall in tread construction and overall goal, just with a slightly different size, of course, being a 255/60 R20. So both are M&S rated and look to be a pretty similar tire. The premium performance trims, they can option up to the all-terrains and the 21-inch sort of range spec for the performance car. I mean, this to me is the best wheel. A lot of people love that wheel. This isn't bad either. This isn't bad either. I think the wheels are not terrible. Let me know what you think. From an interior trim selection, either the light color wood or the dark color wood are reserved for the higher trims. The standard model actually gets this fabric-y color, which I really like. And I think the extra silver paint color is actually, this is the only no charge option. I think it's a kind of a sleeper color. It looks pretty good, and it's not like any of the other colors are that colorful. Yes, the purple in the sun, but when you look at it in the shade, it's not that crazy. The blue is going to be hugely popular. My favorite, of course, is Launch Green, but I think this silver is going to be a pretty popular color for a lot of people. Let me just bring this out here in the sun. Look at that. That's really not bad. My Rivian R1S, was it this color or is it different for R2? I wish I knew all the answers, but you'll have to go over to my buddy Jose at Rivian Tracker for all the real Rivian nerd stuff. Of course, he would know that off the top of his head. I've got to do better. let's talk powertrain and battery pack to start. So the biggest thing is this vehicle is only going to come as a rear wheel drive offering, and it's going to have the rear primary Maximus motor that we've shown in other videos right over here. And that's going to be your only drive axle. So it does look pretty off-roady. It still has that adventurous vibe, but it is going to be rear drive. Again, even if you live in a cold and snowy climate, head over to our friends at Nokian Tires and get yourself some great winter tires. You'll be amazed at what you can do with rear drive in snowy conditions. You really want the all-wheel drive for more off-road cred, I would say. You also don't have adaptive suspension in this car at all. It's just a fixed setup. And no, I have not driven it, so I can't comment on how it's tuned. I would guess it's tuned somewhere in between soft and firm in the adaptive damper cars. Up front, again, there is no motor, so the car actually will weigh a little bit less, but not just because of the motor situation, it's because of the battery. I'll get to that in a second because we finally now do have some details on that. In terms of the motor, though, you're going to have 350 horsepower, and it'll be just under 5.9 seconds to 60 miles an hour. Towing is also dropped a little bit. You have 4,400 pounds on the big boy all-wheel drives, and this is going to be 3,500 pounds. Not a big deal. You're losing about 900 pounds of max tow capacity. Payload's also dropped just by like 50 pounds or so. It's really not a big difference, and I don't think people really think about payload when they drive their cars. Looking here at the interior, you can see that sort of fabric dash material I was telling you about. The seats are a non-perforated but very premium feeling looking interior with a light headliner, which I don't like. The premium models, you can get dark seats, dark headliner. This is dark seat, light headliner. But for many people, it does help making it feel airy. And I have to commend Rivian on still including a ginormous glass roof in this vehicle that extends far beyond the second row seats. Headrest right here. It's really, you get the full view when you sit in the second row. There's no second row heated seats like on the other R2s, but you still have two USB-C ports. They're no longer in the seat backs like they are on the premium ones. They're down here. And then you get this really interesting sort of recycled carbon trim around the vehicle that I like as well, in a little scratchy seat back situation. Really, it's not like you're giving up that much. Yeah, rear heated seats, that's not a big deal. I don't think the people in the back didn't pay for the car. You still get cup holders and a phone holder, unlike Model Y standard, where they even took this out and went extreme cost cutting. So I kind of have to give it props to Rivian for making this still feel very premium, very cool. Little things they took out, like you'll notice no flashlight handle in the door right there, or USB battery bank port. And from a software perspective, you're going to have everything that the performance and premium cars do, with all of the best integration, from your watch to your Spotify to et cetera, route planning. That doesn't come as an option. The software stuff is all in there. On the front of the car, there's a couple differences. You'll notice there's 2 headlight beams rather than 3. So let's run over here. I'll show you really quick. That means that the R2 standard does not get matrix adaptive LED headlights. This one has 1, 2, 3 bulbs in it there. That allows for the really cool adaptive driving beam. You'll also notice the recovery hook on the front, the towing point, or I should say the recovery point. Here with this particular one, you just have 2 beams, low and high beam, in the headlight housing. Still looks almost the same to the casual observer, but if you really want to know if someone spent the money for the premium or the performance, you look for 3 headlights instead of 2, and no tow hooks on the front of this, which I think is totally appropriate, totally fine. It actually kind of looks cleaner in my opinion. I think it's a great looking car. Even on these 19s, I think it looks appropriate and totally okay. I'll get to talking about the battery pack, I promise you, in a little bit, but inside you can see you still have the scroll wheels, and almost nothing is decontented. You'll see the software is not tuned for this car. It has the cooled seat icon, even though they don't do anything. But that will all come in time before it launches. Originally, when I got in this car, I was like, wow, they didn't even put any cool things on the pedals down there. It's just black plastic. All of them are like that. I was like, what? So every R2 kind of has this very black, kind of bland pedal cover kick plate looking thing. I hope someone makes some nicer looking pedal pads for those at some point. You still do get 2 cup holders, I keep calling them cup holders, 2 glove boxes, and a center armrest with 2 USB-C ports. And sitting here, my angle, other than the sound system being different, I don't think you're going to have that many interior differences here. I believe 575 watts down from 900 and something. Listening to the R2 premium sound system is really not that great compared to Tesla Model Y and other competitors in the segment. So I think Rivian really needs to focus on audio quality and upping the audio experience in all of their vehicles. I have a very early Rivian with the Meridian system. That was awesome. Maybe they need to go back to a supplier for some help there. So I can only imagine how this would sound, but it's not tuned in. It's not dialed. It's not representative of how a R2 standard will sound. So that will have to wait until we get closer to the launch, which sounds like it's been pulled forward a little bit to summer of 2027, about a year away for this car to come out, which I'm really excited about because I think this is going to be maybe the volume model for R2, especially if they can get the lease price correct. Other than some of these things here, I think it's time to talk about battery and charging. So let me show you the charge port right here. I think this is pre-production. The normal cars have like a little indent here on the charge port door, so you know where to push. Does this one have it? No, all their pre-pros don't have it, but the production cars have like a little push indent, so you know exactly where to open the charge port with this little locking pin. Still has the maze, still has a NACS port. And here's where we don't know. We don't know DC fast charging performance in terms of peak speed, and we don't know AC charging capacity. Are they going to downgrade it to a 32 amp, 40 amp, or will it stay 48 amp like the rest of the R2 lineup? That's going to be interesting to see what they do there. So on the battery pack situation, it's not confirmed, but I don't think Rivian's going to go with a different battery pack, an LFP or anything like that. I also don't think they're going to software lock the large pack or whatever comes in the cars. Normally it's 88 kilowatt hours usable, low 90s gross capacity. They haven't said gross capacity. It doesn't matter what gross capacity is. Usable capacity matters to the end user, in my opinion. So what are they going to do? Well, they're actually going to do, I think, this is what some people have told me, similar to what Tesla did, and actually depopulate some cells out of the battery pack. So they will hopefully take parallel count out, not too many series count to keep the voltage up there, and just take the capacity out with some cells. My guess is they're going to take about 10 to 15 kilowatt hours out of this thing, bring it down to the 70 to low 70 kilowatt hour range. And I think you're going to see probably more than acceptable range on a daily basis. Now, I would have preferred for them to go LFP, so you could full charge this thing every day and not really worry about it, even though LFP does degrade at 100%. We really shouldn't say you can full charge LFP every day and not worry about it. You should still worry about it. But anyway, it would have been a hardier chemistry, but we don't know how these new LG 4695 cells will hold up in this car. And I guess time will tell. So that's my guess for the battery in this. I'm not sure of the capacity, but I'm thinking about 10 to 15 kilowatt hours out of it in that region to reduce the overall range and cost in the vehicle, but still make it totally usable. This thing with a 70 kilowatt hour pack for 45 grand is still going to be just fine. So other than some of the drive modes that will go away, I don't even know if it's going to have an off-road setting, and it probably won't even have a sport setting. This software is not representative of this car. This is just the blanket pre-production R2 stuff. I think you're going to be okay. You'll have 275 plus miles of Rivian estimated range. Whatever that equates to in the EPA cycle is probably pretty close. And I think it's going to be a pretty stout offering. So comment below, are you interested in waiting for the R2 standard, or are you going to bump up to the premium or even the performance if you really want something spicy? And I guess I can say today, we've been driving the performances all day, and holy moly, it is awesome. It is really fun, really cool. But also I think a little rear driver could be hilarious as well and very enjoyable with over 300 horsepower, mid 300 horsepower range, 350-ish, should be just fine. Comment below, what do you think of the R2 standard? Thanks so much for watching. Big thanks to Rivian for bringing this car here so we finally know what you get, what it looks like in the R2 standard. I should also show you the front trunk, which still retains the gas strut to go up and the auto cinch when you bring it down. So let me show you this. I could also hit the triple ribbed button here to open the front trunk, boom, and you get the same front trunk as the other cars. No difference. It's not like Tesla where they give you even a non-waterproof front trunk in Model Y standard. Why do I keep making that comparison? Because, well, this is finally like a great competitor to the Model Y, and in many cases way better. You can see how the hood just cinches right down. Really cool to have this car here. Thanks to Rivian. Thanks to you guys for watching. I've got to go home now. This video will go up as soon as I can post it. That is the standard Rivian R2. So cool to see it here.